Hello, and welcome to the All Around Growth Podcast. Yesterday, I updated the podcast description. And before we get started today, I'd like to take a minute and share it with you. The All Around Growth Podcast is a show focused on building the lives of our dreams. Rob's focus is on sharing relevant content regarding personal growth and development, specifically through the 7 following categories: financial, physical, personal development, family, spiritual, social, career. Join the community at t.me/allaroundgrowth. Friends, I'd like to welcome you to the 92nd episode of the All Around Growth Podcast. Like I said, this is a show focused on building the lives of our dreams. And I hope that you are gaining clarity in your life, because writing that updated description yesterday helped me gain some clarity on my end. My name is Rob Kaiser, and I am your host of this show. Today is Friday, February 5th, 2021, and it is again a chilly morning, a little bit warmer than it was yesterday, enough to where we got a little bit of snow melt, which subsequently froze, and this leaves a nice layer of ice everywhere. Now, it looks like our part-time tenant farmer, Cody, was able to make it in this morning. I say part-time because he doesn't live here, but he does indeed lease land here. So he was able to make it in. That's a good sign, and I'm hoping that I don't slide down too much, because I'm waiting for the day for one of us to get into an accident here, sliding out onto the main road as we try to leave before we are able to get the work done on the driveway, fixing it. Anyways, back to the show. The title of today's show is The Optimal Workout. Yes, a long lead up into what we're going to talk about today, but all of that was relevant. All of that is important, because I was originally going to do a show on personal development. And as I prepared my notes for personal development, I read, personal development consists of activities that develop a person's capabilities and potential, build human capital, facilitate employability, and enhance quality of life, and the realization of dreams and aspirations. Personal development may take place over the course of an individual's entire lifespan. And that is what Wikipedia has to say on personal development. But after reading about that and understanding that we talked about financial stuff yesterday, if we talk physical today and then followed up with personal development on Monday and then family on Tuesday, we begin covering all of the various categories that we're setting goals in, or at least that I'm setting goals in. And so, before we actually hit the road, let's go ahead and revisit that newly updated show description just one more time. This is a show focused on building the lives of our dreams. Rob's focus is on sharing relevant content regarding personal growth and development, specifically through the 7 following categories: financial, physical, personal development, family, spiritual, social, and career. Join the community at t.me/allaroundgrowth. So, as I thought about that last night, when I actually assembled these notes, instead of this morning, I felt so confident about the idea of having rotating show topics based on these 7 categories, because I am setting goals in these 7 categories, and if my goals are aligned with the direction that I wish to head in life, then it makes sense that I would indeed create show topics based on those goals, based on those categories. So yeah, I shifted gears a bit and wanted to talk about the physical aspect, and that's relevant because for the past 30, well, not the past 30 days, but largely during a 30-day span in January, I engaged in my first 30-day test. And the 30-day test is an idea that was discussed in The Strangest Secret of the World by Earl Nightingale. And I will link to that in the show notes. I've also done episodes on Earl Nightingale in the past in this specific recording or production that he has done. Now, why physical? Why did I begin the year with some sort of physical 30-day test? Well, Dan Miller of 48 Days, author of 48 Days to the Work and Life You Love, recently did an episode on the experiences he faced going through his own challenges with burnout, and also his experiences on what he did to deal with that, which included, but certainly wasn't limited to, involvement with doctors in the spheres of functional medicine. And what that gave him some insight into was that once he engaged in physical work, working out, that he discovered that it opened some creative doors for him, and it facilitated new ideas and improvements in his own life. And when I heard that, I thought, okay, I can step it up and I can learn something from this and I can do more. So I'd already been doing some stretching, and I say some because admittedly I got a bit lazy and complacent with it, but I talk frequently about taking on new things and also removing certain things as we take on new things. Nevertheless, when it came to working out, I wanted to be efficient during it. And because I can't remember the specific episode where Dan Miller made this suggestion about the physical capacity or physical workouts increasing the creative capacity that we have, I just linked to all of the content that he provides because it is awesome and inspirational and highly recommended. So the physical workout that I have been doing is a kettlebell workout, and somehow I managed to neglect the actual workout that I am doing in my notes because I was so excited about the new direction of the the new direction of the show. I guess that is what it is. But here's what I've been doing. So I have 2 kettlebells that I use primarily. One is a 10-pounder, and the other is a 10 kilogram or a 22-pounder, okay? And that's what I have because that's what I was gifted, and when I started using the lighter one, I realized that I could use a heavier one, so I bought a 10 kilogram one, even though I was looking for, I think I was looking for a 15 or a 20 to start with. But I will be 100% honest with you, the 10 kilogram is plenty, and I do a simple workout that consists of this: 75 kettlebell swings, 50 kettlebell shoulder presses, 50 kettlebell squats, and a modified farmer suitcase carry. Okay, so let me explain what I'm doing here with that. The kettlebell swing is pretty self-explanatory. I had to watch some videos on how to do this to make sure that my form was halfway decent, and I should probably watch some more and film myself, because while working out is good, if you haven't worked out in a long time, it's easy to overdo it. It's easy to remember what we used to be, and I can assure you that what we are and who we are today physically is not who we are and what we once were in the past, but we have the potential to be that again and more, but we need to take it slow. So I started with a very light weight, and I certainly couldn't do all 75 kettlebell swings in one pass. So if you can't, you do as many as you can do, rest up to 60 seconds, do another set as many as you can do, rest up to 60 seconds until you reach 75. I'm at a point now where I'm able to do 40 to 45 swings without resting. And when I started in early January, I could barely do, 15 or 20 without needing to take a rest. Once you can do 75 without resting, that's the time when you move up to a heavier weight or a heavier kettlebell. Now, I used the 10-pounder for the shoulder presses, and even though it's only 50, at the same time when I started, I was only able to get 10 or 15 before taking a rest. Now I'm able to do 25 and then some if I really push. So with regard to the squats, that's a hard one for me because my mobility and my flexibility is limited. So I am not even using a kettlebell, and I have a hard time doing a flat-footed squat as it is. I don't know if it's because I'm so out of shape or if it's just because I always had this kind of, flexibility or mobility problem. I don't know, but I hold on to the kitchen sink and try to practice good form with my squats, and that's the best I can do. And you know what? I'm making progress, and maybe some point in time in the future I will level up to the point where I'm able to do some good form squats with the kettlebell. But in the interim, I'm not doing squats with any weight whatsoever, because that's what works best for me, and you got to do what works best for you in whatever context of your life. And we all start somewhere, but if we start off poorly, we're building bad foundation and a weak foundation for the strong future that we want to have. So it may seem a little bit, puss or whatever, but start slow, start right. And just remember, do it right or not at all. That's the motto of the Davey Tree Expert Company, and the history of the company, and that saying specifically has stuck with me over the years, and I'm glad I had that experience. I'm glad I learned that, and it's something I try to remember to this day. Do it right or not at all. After I get my 50 squats in, the modified farmer's carry that I do, the suitcase carry, is I sling a towel, a small hand towel, through the 3 kettlebells that I have, the 5-pound, 10-pound, and the 10 kilogram. And I walk around with it 100 paces, each arm, switch arms, and do 2 sets of that, 100 paces. Until I get some heavier weights. That's kind of what I do, and I might experiment with looking into an additional exercise, but for now I'm happy with that, and I'm able to do all of this in less than 25 minutes, and I am experiencing some good results, and it feels good. So in less than 2 hours a week, I'm able to squeeze in some workouts in a way that I haven't done in a very long time. So I did that for the 30-day period in January and seem to have effectively created a new habit. I've stayed consistent with it this month, and I plan to stay consistent with it as time goes on. My 30-day test currently is a financial test, and that consists of spending time, specifically 1 Pomodoro each day, preferably in the morning, working through Quicken. And that's either going to consist of updating my transactions and making sure my books are in line with my accounts, or spending time going through the tutorials, learning how to more effectively navigate and manage the software that I'm using to manage my life and business. And I think that I will experience better results with the software when I am in a position to more effectively navigate how to use it. All right. Next month is going to be a 30-day test on something related to personal development. And, like we said earlier, the 7 categories are yikes, easy for me to say. The 7 categories are financial, physical, personal development, family, spiritual, social, and career. And we're going to talk about personal development on Monday. Now, I may not get to the point where I am able to articulate what that goal is, but I like the idea of talking about it and thinking about it ahead of time. I like the idea of having some structured or some more structured show topics like this. And I'd be interested in your feedback on what you think about this idea and the potential direction that the show may be heading with regard to the description, which you can read in the updated podcast show notes or on Buzzsprout itself, where the podcast is being hosted. So, hopefully, you found this show to be a valuable use of your time and you enjoy what you heard. And if that's the case, in the show notes at the bottom, you can also find a link that says, click here to rate and review the podcast. Click that link. It'll take you over to Apple Podcasts, where you can leave a 5-star rating and a written review if you like. Both of those things help positively impact the algorithms there. And at this point in time, since we are getting the most plays through iTunes and the Apple platform, that is where we ought to focus on trying to positively affect the algorithms. If you have any questions or feedback for me, you can send them to allaroundgrowth@gmail.com, or better yet, join the Telegram group at t.me/allaroundgrowth, or if you've got the Telegram Messenger app on your phone already, you can simply search within the groups for All Around Growth, and you should be able to find us there. All right, everybody. That is it for today. I sincerely appreciate you listening and tuning in once again. And in addition to leaving a review, if you like what you heard, share it with your friends or family. Post it on social media. Try to spread the word. It is certainly appreciated. And again, last but not least, I'd like to encourage you to join the Telegram community, because we've got a small community, but it's kind of awesome what's taking place there. You've got some VIP folks that have been supportive from the show from the very beginning. They are the ones that contribute. They are the ones that provide feedback. You guys are the ones that make this happen. I'm sincerely grateful for your support, your friendship, and basically everything with this podcast over the past couple of months. Thanks so much. I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to touching base with you Monday. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you.